The Time Lord has entered the trap.
Help him change the future. Do it!
The Doctor is regenerating! If you want my life, come and get it!
YouTube, and welcome to episode 21 of my Doctor Who action figure reviews. As you know, this is another special. This is episode 21, so this is my third special, and this one is focused entirely on the 11th Doctor. The reason for that being, of course, that it's just under a week until we say goodbye to Matt Smith and he regenerates into the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi. So this review is basically going to be in two parts, and in this first part we are looking at three distinct variants of Matt Smith as the 11th Doctor. The variants we're basically looking at are the 11th Doctor from the Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang, the 11th Doctor from A Christmas Carol with the new jacket, and an 11th Doctor in Stetson from the Impossible Astronaut Day of the Moon. I'll go through each of these figures, I'll do it in episode order, so I'll begin with Pandorica Opens variant first, and then we'll move on to the other variants, and then the TARDIS and the monsters will be in the second part of this review. So I'll begin this review by looking at the articulation of this figure, as the articulation is the same on all the Matt Smiths. The head can turn slightly, not too much, particularly on this figure. It goes left and right, but it can't do a 360, it's quite stiff. The arms can do a 360, the biceps can do a 360 as well, and they can bend. His wrists can turn, mine are very stiff as these have hardly been used. The legs go forward and backward and out to the side on the T-jointed hip. The torso can do a 360, it's only slightly hindered by the jacket. And the legs can turn, can do a 360 at the thighs, and they bend, of course. And there is no ankle articulation on this figure. So that's the articulation. It's the same for all the Doctors. There's none of them with the ball jointed arms or anything, so they're all the same. So I'll now move on to the detail of this variant of Matt Smith. Matt Smith features a brand new face sculpt compared to the original. This was released as part of the Pandorica wave, where you would collect 5 different figures. They were usually just re-releases of old figures but tweaked, and you got a Pandorica CD containing a Doctor Who story with it, and this was one of them. This was the 11th Doctor with Fez variant, and the face sculpt is brand new. It does look like Matt Smith, not as much as on the other variants. I think this is probably the weakest look-alike for Matt Smith, although it does feature a new look for him. It is a smiling face Matt Smith has, which is very nice to see. It's nice compared to the general Matt Smith look. It's a nice little change. The hair is a new sculpt. It's been chopped off at the top to incorporate the fez, and it's swept over here, and that's all one big thick piece of plastic. It's not like one separate piece that clicks in on the original variants of Matt Smith. It's all one piece, painted in brown with lighter washes over the top. And the eyebrows painted nicely in the eyes, and the features of Matt Smith look very good. It still looks like Matt Smith, but it's just, I don't think it's the best looking variant of him. The only other major difference between this variant of Matt Smith and the original releases are basically the fez, which is all red, very very nice. This is the first fez he got in the Pandorica Opens and the Big Bang, and the one in Day of the Doctor is almost the same as this, and that's just painted on in red as a solid piece clicked onto the top. The only thing I am not sure about with this is you can see the obvious bit where it clicks in, the obvious gap between the hair and the fez, but when you put him on camera and just have him standing facing forward, you can't see the gap at all, and it looks pretty nice. The other difference is a new tweed jacket. It's not the same as the original tweed jacket. This is a completely brand new texture. It's not got lines. It's more like bits to give it a different kind of feel to the other tweed jacket, as this is the tweed jacket he originally wore in the first episode 11th Hour. Then he donned a new tweed jacket up until Flesh and Stone, but then the Angels nicked his jacket, so he ended up with this one again for the rest of Series 5. And this is painted in different tones of brown. It's like a lighter tone of brown with a darker tone over the top to highlight the details. Just bring that a bit closer, apologies for quality. And it's very very nicely detailed. It's got all the buttons on there in red, and the pockets are sculpted on. It's got the elbow pads at the back, the collar in a slightly darker colour to the rest of it, and it's all very very nice, and the texture is very very nice as well. So that's a nice little tweak. The shirt and bow tie are exactly the same. It's the red shirt and bow tie variant, which is correct for the episode. And of course he's got the same trousers, now painted in a matte black finish with a gloss black shoes. These are the same shoes, the legs are basically the same sculpt, so no changes there. And of course comes with his sonic screwdriver, again open rather than a closed version, which is a shame, but only the 3 3/4 inch range ones come with closed screwdrivers. That needs to be addressed, I believe. But other than that, that's basically it. The only other accessory this Matt Smith came with is a mop, which is a stupid accessory in my opinion. It's the hardest accessory to get to hold. It's even harder than the cyber guns, that's how difficult it is. And that's just a thin piece of brown plastic for the handle, and with the head of the mop on top, and you can try and just slot it into his other hand. You have extreme difficulty with this. Well, there you go, look, and he just holds it there and drops it immediately. So, but it's nicely comes with the mop, as it does make it specific to the Big Bang episode. So it's a nice accessory, but really quite unnecessary and quite unusual. So that's the Pandorica Opens Matt Smith. Very very nice little variant. So the next variant to look at is the Christmas Carol variant of Matt Smith, which came with the TARDIS. Now this variant of Matt Smith is basically a Wave 1 Matt Smith. It's exactly the same as the Wave 1 Matt Smith, pretty much. It's the same head sculpt, it's the same shirt, same jacket sculpt. It's not the new jacket, and the same trousers and shoes. So the only major difference between this one and the other Matt Smiths is that the jacket, as you can see, has got dark brown lines across the jacket, and the jacket is in a lighter brown than previous tweed jackets, and there's a little bit of a darker wash. Now I'm sort of quite let down with this variant, as I understand what they're trying to do. It's meant to be emulating the later jackets he wears in the Christmas Carol onwards, the one with the 3 lines going across and down. However, all they've done is got a brush and gone straight across the entire jacket, giving it these orange lines, and it doesn't really make it look like the jacket at all, because the jacket the tweed should really go down as well as along. If they'd have put lines going down it, it might have looked a bit better, but it just doesn't work on this jacket. It's a nice idea, but it just doesn't work on this figure. And it's good that they lighten the jacket and to make so the lines showed up more, but I think it could have done with more lines going downwards as well as across on this figure, because as you can see, it's not great. And the only other difference is the shirt is now plain, and it's a plain red shirt. It's not got any detail on it at all. It should have, if it's from Christmas Carol, these squares made up from lines on the shirt, because if you look in the episode there are lines, but they haven't done that because that would be very fiddly to do and you probably wouldn't see them. So it's just a plain shirt and the red bow tie. Other than that, same figure, same accessory, and this one came with an Amy Pond and policewoman's uniform, which I will not be doing in this review. I'll do that in another. And this TARDIS, which is basically the same as the other TARDIS I've shown you, with the only difference being black windows instead of white, and it has the sound effects. Lamp lights up, door opens, there's a light on the insert sticker as well. But that's the only difference between that TARDIS and the other TARDIS. So the final variant to look in this first part of the review is the Series 6 Stetson variant of Matt Smith, from The Impossible Astronaut and Day of the Moon. Now, this variant again is the same body, exactly the same body. All the Matt Smiths have the same body, same jacket sculpt and same bow tie and shirt sculpt. The shirt is now white, as he wears in that episode. Well, it's one of his two costumes in that episode. He wears the blue and the white with the red bow tie, and then wears blue with the blue bow tie. The jacket is in a dark brown. They didn't go with this jacket, which I'm actually glad about. It should really be that jacket, but it just wouldn't have worked with this. It just doesn't work. So they've gone with a darker brown for the tweed jacket. It's the same tweed jacket as on the Series 5 Matt Smiths. Same kind of pattern, same brown paint, same elbow pads. So that's all the same. The shirt is white, as I said. And the only major difference is it's the first of the new head sculpts. It's got the head sculpt of the Matt Smith in the blue shirt, which is probably the best looking head sculpt out of them all. I just bring that in. It looks the most like Matt Smith, in my opinion. And of course the obvious difference is he is wearing his Stetson from the beginning of Impossible Astronaut, and he wears it again in the Wedding of River Song, and the end of, what was it called, Closing Time. Now, I like the variant with the Stetson. I thought they needed more variants with the Stetson. I was hoping we'd get a Matt Smith with the long green coat, but we never did. Why? It was a fantastic coat. I've actually got a replica of it, but we never got that from Character Options. I thought it would have come out with the Stetson on, but no, we've just got the tweed jacket variant with the Stetson on. And the Stetson is very, very nice. It's sculpted very, very nice. It's got the bands in brown. My only problem is, why is the Stetson in a dark brown colour? Because the Stetson on the television is a lighter colour. It's almost a white, off-white colour, the one that he's given by Craig, and this one isn't. This is brown. I don't know why they've done it in brown. They could have done it in a light brown and they would have got away with it. But because it's all brown, it sort of loses the band. I mean, the band has got detailing on it, but I can't show you because of the camera and because it's just far too dark brown to get any sort of detail. So that's a shame with the Stetson, and I know it sounds like I'm complaining with each of these figures, but honestly I'm not. I love these figures. Matt Smith's brilliant. So you've got the Stetson. Other than that, basically the same screwdriver again, same shoe, same legs, same paint on the shoes, on the trousers. The only difference being now he's wearing matte black boots, which is a nice little tweak. But other than that, exactly the same. Hair's been chopped off to put the Stetson on, but that's it. So that's all the variants. of Matt Smith. That is all the variants of Matt Smith that I actually own. So that's the 11th Doctor variants done now. I don't have any of the purple variants as they're in the wrong scale, and I'm not buying 3 3/4 inch figures. If they want me to buy a purple Matt Smith, they need to release it in 5 inch, because 3 3/4 inch you just can't get the detail, and that's what I buy these figures for, the detail. And well, the detail and collecting them, but the detail plays a big part in that. So 3 3/4 inch figures just aren't worth it for me. How can I comment on the accuracy of the sculpt when there's not enough detail to tell me whether it is accurate or not? So that is why I will not buy those figures. So that concludes part 1 of Lasts, or Time of the Doctor. So that's the end of the part 1 of this special. Join me in the second part of this review, when I shall be taking a look at the monsters of Time of the Doctor, which, if you've seen the trailer, you already know, or if you've seen the magazine or the promo pictures. But if you don't know, little spoiler alert here. Next part of the review, we'll be looking at the Daleks, the Cybermen, the Weeping Angels, and the Silence. So, this is the end of part 1, and I shall see you in part 2.